There is an equation every traveler needs to understand. It is not about exchange rates, it is about purchasing power. And once you understand it, you will never look at travel the same way again. The same $100 bill can be a fortune or an insult depending on where you are. In some countries, it is a week's salary. In others, it is a single meal. The difference is not just about currency values, it's about cost of living, local wages, and what economists call purchasing power parity. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Imagine you're holding a cup of coffee. In New York, a fancy latte might cost around $7.65. In Switzerland, the exact same drink costs about $12.76 after converting currency. The coffee is identical, the price is not. That gap is purchasing power in action. Purchasing power parity suggests that identical goods should cost the same in different countries once you adjust for exchange rates, but in reality, that never happens. Some countries are simply more expensive, others are dramatically cheaper. For travelers, this creates a fascinating game. Your budget is fixed, but its value is not. So let us break it down country by country. You might be surprised. Affirmative. Celebratory. Thailand has long been the poster child for budget travel, and for good reason. In Bangkok, $100 goes a very long way. You can get a private room in a clean guest house for about $15 to $20. Street food costs $2 to $3 per meal. A traditional Thai massage sets you back $10. A full-day tour with lunch runs around $30. You can easily stretch $100 across 3 days if you're careful. But here's the kicker. A luxurious 5-star hotel room in Bangkok can cost as little as $60 to $80 per night. That means for $100, you could stay in a luxury suite, eat like royalty, and still have change left over. Thailand remains one of the best value destinations on the planet. Vietnam takes the budget crown and tightens it. Here, $100 is a serious sum. A bowl of pho costs about $2. A beer costs 50 cents. You can get a tailored suit made from scratch for exactly $100. A hostel bed is $5 to $8. The daily budget needed for a comfortable stay in Vietnam is around $69 per day, according to recent data, but you can absolutely do it for less. The food is spectacular, the landscapes are breathtaking, and your wallet barely notices. Cambodia pushes the boundaries even further. In Siem Reap, a decent hotel room with air conditioning and a pool costs $15 to $20. A 3-course meal at a good restaurant is $10. A tuk-tuk driver for the whole day costs $15. The Angkor Wat Temple Pass is $37 for 1 day, but that is one of the wonders of the world. For $100, you could cover your accommodation, food, and transport for 3 full days. Cambodia is a history lover's dream with a backpacker's price tag. Indonesia is another Southeast Asian heavyweight. In Bali, you can find a private villa with a pool for $60 to $100 per night. The Yogyakarta temple circuit, including Borobudur and Prambanan, is criminally cheap and one of Asia's best cultural experiences. With $100, you are not just surviving, you are thriving. Now, let us look at the opposite extreme. Switzerland is a masterpiece of precision engineering, stunning mountain views, and financial destruction for tourists. In Zurich or Geneva, $100 gets you 1 night in a basic hotel room, maybe. In Zurich, a meal at a mid-range restaurant costs $30 per person without drinks. A coffee costs $5. A McDonald's combo costs $15.
The average salary in Switzerland is high, which means local prices reflect local wages. For tourists, it is a shock. Your $100 evaporates like morning mist on the Alps. According to travel data, Switzerland has a daily trip cost of around $602. That is not a typo. $600 per day. Greenland is even worse, with a daily trip cost of $1,171, though that includes expedition costs. But for most travelers, Switzerland is where money goes to die. The United Kingdom is not much better. London is famously expensive. $100 is about 80 British pounds, which covers a mediocre hotel room in Zone 3, maybe a meal and a tube ticket. You are not living like royalty. You're living like a broke student. However, outside London, your money goes further. In Manchester or Glasgow, you can find a decent hotel for $50, a meal for $15, and still have money left over. Portugal is the exception to the European rule. Often overlooked in favor of Spain or Italy, Portugal remains genuinely affordable. A private room in Lisbon hostel costs around $55. A pastel de nata costs $1.20. A full bacalhau dinner at a real restaurant costs $14. Train tickets between Lisbon and Porto are around $25 to $40. Portugal is Europe's sweet spot for value, offering 40 to 50% lower prices than France or Italy for equivalent quality. It is the only Western European country where $100 still feels like real money. Italy sits somewhere in the middle. $100 will get you a nice but not luxurious hotel room in Rome or Florence, maybe $60 to $70. A pizza and a glass of wine at a good restaurant costs $20. A museum entry costs $15. You can have a good day, but you're not splurging. Italy is wonderful, but it's not a budget destination. India is where $100 becomes a small fortune. You can get a decent hotel room for $10 to $15. A meal at a local restaurant costs $2 to $4. A rickshaw ride across town costs $1. You could stretch $100 across a full week and not feel deprived. The Taj Mahal entry fee for foreigners is about $15. A guided tour is $10. A train ride across the country is $20. India offers more cultural density and culinary variety than almost anywhere else, and it is staggeringly cheap. Japan has a reputation for being expensive, but the reality has changed dramatically. With the weak yen, $100 now stretches further than it used to. A mid-range hotel room in Tokyo is about $60. A meal at a good ramen shop is $10. Convenience store food is surprisingly high quality and costs $5 to $8. A Shinkansen bullet train ticket from Tokyo to Kyoto is about $120 one way, so that is beyond our $100 budget. But for a day in Tokyo, $100 covers accommodation, food, transport, and a small souvenir. Japan is no longer the financial horror story it once was. China has become more expensive in recent years, but $100 still goes a decent distance. A 3-star hotel room in Beijing is about $50. A meal at a local restaurant is $5 to $10. A ticket to the Great Wall is $10. You can have a good day and a comfortable night. China's affordability is moderate, but with its incredible infrastructure and historical sites, the value proposition remains strong. In the United States, $100 does not buy much. A standard hotel room outside a city center costs $100 to $150. A meal at a chain restaurant costs $20 to $30 per person. A movie ticket is $15. A museum entry is $25. You can burn through $100 by lunchtime if you're not careful. The average daily budget for a U.S. city trip is over $200 per day. This is why so many Americans travel abroad. It is cheaper to fly to Europe or Asia than to take a domestic vacation. The irony is palpable. Mexico is where the dollar still has real power. $100 gets you a nice boutique hotel room in Mexico City, dinner for 2 with drinks, and a museum visit. You could even cover a day trip to the pyramids of Teotihuacan. Street tacos cost $1 to $2. A beer costs $3. A private tour of the archaeological sites costs $20. Mexico is the perfect balance of culture, food, and value. Oaxaca, in particular, offers world-class food markets and mezcal at half the price of Mexico City. Brazil leads the world in affordability in 2025, according to affordability indexes. Public transport costs $1.40 per trip, and weekly grocery expenses average around $55. A private room in a decent hotel costs about $40. The food is incredible, the culture is vibrant, and your money stretches impressively far. For $100, you are living well.
Morocco is a sensory overload in the best possible way. In Marrakesh, $100 can get you a riad room in the Medina, a food tour, and a hammam experience. Street food costs a couple of dollars. The souks are a bargaining paradise. Your money goes far if you know how to negotiate. A guided tour through the Atlas Mountains costs about $30. A camel ride in the Sahara Desert costs $20. A meal at a traditional restaurant costs $10. Morocco is an experience, and it is surprisingly affordable. South Africa is often overlooked as a budget destination. $100 gets you a nice B&B, a safari park entry, and a dinner at a good restaurant. Your dollar stretches thanks to the weak rand. A bottle of world-class wine from Stellenbosch costs $5 to $10. A Cape Winelands tour is $30. A meal at a top restaurant is $20. South Africa offers incredible value for a country with such a diverse range of attractions. Kenya is trickier. A safari tour is expensive. $100 per day is the bare minimum for a budget safari. But outside the safari circuit, your money goes further. A hotel room in Nairobi is $30 to $40. A meal is $8 to $12. A matatu ride is $1. The safari premium is real, but Kenya's other offerings remain affordable. Australia is expensive. In Sydney or Melbourne, $100 gets you a basic hotel room in a hostel or a budget hotel outside the city center. A meal at a pub is $15 to $20. A beer is $8. A museum entry is $20. But here is the thing. Australia has incredible free attractions. The beaches are free, the parks are free, the wildlife is free. You can stretch $100 further if you are smart about it. New Zealand follows a similar pattern. The stunning scenery costs nothing to admire. Your budget will eat your budget, but the experiences are worth it. For $100, you're not living large, but you're not suffering either. The lesson is simple. $100 is a moving target. Where you go matters more than how much you have. Choose wisely, and your travel budget can last days or even weeks. Choose poorly, and you'll be wondering where it all went by dinner. The secret is understanding purchasing power parity, the real value of your money in a given country. It's not about exchange rates, it's about what you can actually buy. For reference, a Big Mac in Switzerland costs around $7.99, while in India it costs about $2.62. The Big Mac Index, a humorous but useful economic tool, shows that currencies can be overvalued or undervalued in dramatic ways. Switzerland is overvalued. India is undervalued. Your travel budget will reflect that. So the next time you're planning a trip, think about what your money will actually get you. It might change your destination, and it will definitely change your experience. The world is not equally expensive. It's not equally cheap. It's a patchwork of purchasing power. In some countries, your money is a superpower. In others, it's pocket change. The key is to align your budget with your destination. If you want luxury on a budget, head to Southeast Asia, India, or Mexico. If you want to experience Europe, choose Portugal over Switzerland. If you're curious about Africa, Morocco and South Africa offer incredible value. And if you're planning a trip to Greenland, maybe bring a second mortgage. The world is bigger than you think.
Now you know a little more of it. Hit subscribe if you love exploring the unexpected. See you on the next journey.